Say you want it, feature pen. You write books, film song, not even there, so it end. The way you work, them I feel respect it, my friend. Nah, I beg nobody, no. Oh yes, please like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you see this on a Written Mirror page, please follow the Wicked Penman page. If you see this on a Wicked Penman page, please follow the Written Mirror page. Hello everyone, Jay Mullings from Written Mirror here, AKA Wicked Penman. Today's topic is, well, it's been one that, if you've been following my videos, I've been touching on for quite some time, but essentially, it's reggae versus dancehall. I don't mean it in an adversarial sense. I mean reggae versus dancehall in terms of the perception of things when you decide to go and explore out of the normal or the usual soundscape. I guess what's brought this on is, so when I did the song Wicked Fly, I'll put the instrumental underneath this to jog anyone's memory who has heard it before. And if you haven't, then I'll also drop a link to the actual video so you can watch it. And when I was being interviewed and asked about Wicked Fly and what it means and why I did it, I explained it as the direction I believe that reggae and dancehall is going to go into the future, where they're both going to merge onto themselves, but also it's going to be a unique soundscape going forward. And I named a few names, some of the legends of the past, and then some of the people who I'm like, well, these are the people who have the highest potential to be recognized as legends going forwards in the future. Now, less than 4 months later, if you listen to the latest release by Chronixx, Cool as the Breeze, or Friday, and if you listen to Koffee's latest offering called Lockdown, you'll see that I kind of predicted this. I knew that this was kind of where things were going to go. If you listen to these songs and you didn't know anything about these artists, you'd be forgiven if you say, look, this is not reggae, these are not reggae artists, no way. I get it, because that soundscape is not a typical reggae soundscape. What's reggae about it? The actual artists who are performing on it. Now, what's the reception been to these new songs? They've been positive. I've not heard anyone complain or say anyone of note hasn't said anything against these songs, hasn't complained, nothing. So I was like, that's interesting. These are the same people who are like these so-called dancehall purists who absolutely hate anything that's not 90s sounding dancehall or this, that, the third, or whatever it is that they can't identify as like, look, if you were to take someone who knew nothing about the genre and say to them, is this dancehall or not? And they can't say yes, then it's not dancehall. That's kind of how they think, how they formulate, how they process. The minute you do anything that doesn't fall under, like I said, that normal dancehall umbrella, it's all this, that, the third, and do you know what I mean? Everyone has an opinion on it, and it's never a positive opinion. Now, so I'm like, by contrast, I'm like, hang on a second, that's interesting. So I guess once you're known for reggae, once you know that you can deliver a conscious message and so on and so forth, then I guess that's when you get the pass to kind of do what you want. Whereas, I guess if you do dancehall and you're not known as in you're not a hit maker, or you're not known for having said anything conscious in the past, then you absolutely must stick to the formula, otherwise you'll get caned for it. And I find that to be very interesting indeed. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with, like I said, the latest releases by those artists mentioned, not at all. I'm all for it. In fact, like I said, this was kind of what I predicted would be, with Wicked Fly, I kind of gave you a soundscape where I was like, this is the kind of future fusion of reggae and dancehall. But these last two releases have kind of, they're really in the same vein. You could play these songs back to back to back and it would fit. It would make sense to people. So yeah, I really do think that's interesting, intriguing. And it's also positive to see some of the, well, then again, part of me says, whoever's driving the narrative of classic dance or authentic dance or all of this, whatever it is, these buzzwords and whatever. Maybe these are the same people that are feeding new ideas to these artists, because it's like, well, where did this all of a sudden come from? Why all of a sudden this change into a completely different soundscape? And then, you know, the things that they're all saying now, it's like, oh yeah, all music originated in Africa. I'm like, I see where this is going. And yeah, it could be a play to capture some of the Afrobeats, but as in the people who globally listen to Afrobeats, it could be an attempt to try and claw back at that audience and take, you know, a major piece of that niche for themselves by trying to kind of diversify the sound palette so it doesn't identify as just straight reggae, straight dancehall. And again, I have no issue with that, because that was part of what I was saying in a previous video, is that what Afrobeats has over reggae, not reggae, but has over dancehall, was it's a presentation, a consistent presentation, and it's also a lyrical scheme that, you know, you can get away with playing on. You can play it on the radio. They don't really say too many explicit things in Afrobeats. I've never detected it. Again, obviously I don't speak some of these languages, dialects, whatever, so if they are slipping stuff in there, it's very melodic when they're doing it, because they'll have you singing along, sort of like soca in a way. And I made that comparison in I'll put links to those videos in the either in the video or in the description. The new wave of reggae. What I also found fascinating was when I looked at the Koffee song, it was listed as being R&B. So I'm like, oh, okay. It's not impossible, you know. You can artists venture outside of their archetypes all the time, you know. Pink started out doing, was it R&B or whatever, and she ended up being Pink. So, you know, it's not impossible that you start in one lane, end up in another one. That, and if you're musical and talented enough, you can express yourself in multiple genres and forms. Someone like Beenie Man, I remember what was the album called? The Many Moods of Moses, where he tried a bit of everything. A little bit of rap, a little bit of gospel, a little bit of foundation, reggae, obviously authentic dance. Yeah, so, and that, I remember that, was that the album that got him a Grammy? I feel like it is, you know. Many Moods of Moses. Is that when he became the Grammy? Probably, I think it was one of his better albums for sure. So I guess the takeaway from this is the so-called experts aren't experts in predicting the future, number one. And number two, it just shows you that when you have a creative idea in your mind, follow your mind, right? Because imagine, and again, I was watching a mini documentary on YouTube regarding Shaggy's It Wasn't Me, and how it was a song that nearly never was, because the label didn't like it, so on and so forth. They were like, you know, trying to find ways to keep it off the project, and it ended up being, you know, one of his most astronomical hits and one of the biggest songs on the face of the earth in the history of the earth. So that, again, it goes to show, and then that kind of, according to Shaggy's reasoning, that's what spawned the dancehall genre, like, as in kind of revitalized it and made sure that money went into promoting artists, and people like Sean Paul were able to benefit and have obviously smash records of their own. So yeah, that's very interesting. So I guess, you know, if there's a wave you want to be a part of it. If you want to start your own wave, always feel comfortable to start your own wave. I guess that's the real message here. And if you listen to these songs, yes, they're departure from what you would normally expect from these artists, but so I for one will commend that all day long, because I never want to hear the same old from artists. And again, this is a conversation I've had with friends where there are just certain artists who I think just stay in the same lane all the time. Yeah, you might be great at that lane, but, you know, like, break out of it every now and then, try something, even if you fail, like, but like, you know, they're like, no, that's what I like and expect from this artist, I just want that. And I'm like, fair enough. If that's working for you, then fine and fair enough. Who am I to say anything against that? But yeah, reggae versus dancehall. It'll be interesting to see who makes the next major leap on the dancehall front. in terms of doing something that no one has done before in dancehall. Because like I said, we're seeing now with the reggae that the way I'm hearing, oh yeah, and I forgot to include Buju Banton in that list, because even his kind of soundscape and palette is evolving as well. But I understand with him because he's a veteran and a pioneer, so of course he's gonna want to mix it up, try new things. Like he's been given a second chance, if you like, so he's not gonna waste it by just. I'm sure he could do the usual, that would be easy for him. It's muscle memory. So I understand him taking up new cadences, going on beats you probably wouldn't normally hear him on, and so on. So I respect the hell out of that stuff. And then, of course, you got the man himself, Vybz Kartel, and his album Dons and Divas, which again, a lot of it seems to be a departure from what you would normally expect from him, but apparently he has his eyes on a much bigger prize, and it's the international market. So we can only wait and see what comes of it. But then again, the reason I didn't mention him sooner is because I think of these veterans as, it's like they have the clout, they have the fan base to be able to, if they want, they can release. Kartel did like a punk rock type tune. Do you think of me sometime, or whatever the hell? Yeah, that song. And I was like, what is this? But again, when you have that name, you have that resume, you have the collabs, you have the clout, you can do what you want. And again, I'm here for it. Like, artists should express themselves in multiple forms and multiple ways, and it's music, and as long as it's not killing no one and it's not promoting the killing of no one, then feel free, break some eggs, make some omelets. It'll be very interesting, like I said, to see where the next major leap is and who makes that leap. Whoever it is that does it is going to be very, very, very well rewarded for it, because it's long overdue. There needs to be some new innovation in dancehall, especially. Just a lane, someone just comes and just busts a lane wide open. And even if it's so that other people can come through and make their moves, but that notion that there's one type of dancehall and that's it, and if it's not, this is not. Like, I just want someone to just come and just take a sledgehammer to that and finish that myth off once and for all. But then again, that myth was never really existed. All these dancehall greats have done hip hop collabs, so on and so forth. And then even someone who's sold really well, like a Shaggy or a Shump, their stuff was not. It wasn't. You can't say it was like, oh my gosh, this was like the most authentic dancehall you'll ever come across. No, it was built to chart, music to chart, commercial music. If you don't want to say pop, then you say commercial music. And that's what dancehall is missing, consistent commercial representation from artists, and then having new artists break through that understand that same mold. But anyway, let me leave it there for now. Jay Mullings, Written Mirror, AKA Wicked Penman. My EP, One Wicked Penman, 1 WPM, 1 word per minute. It's coming out very, very soon. I'll have an announcement. I'll have subsequent videos. I'll have a lot of things to say. We will chop it up. But until next time, I'm out.